Are you sick of hearing about Little Alterboy? Is it any good? Well, the answer is yes. It's a pretty good plugin. The problem is, it's also a really simple plugin. And you're always watching these really cool producers saying, well, I've just slapped a little bit of Alterboy on it and it was magic. Right? But every time you try it, it never works. Well, the truth is, there's a couple little tricks that you need to use when you're using Alterboy to make it sound like the cool kids do it, and not just like some sad robot. So today I'm gonna show you the most famous and obvious Little Alterboy trick, the Alterboy delay, and we're gonna make it sound like the cool kids like it. Well, I'm not a cool kid. I'm a sad, hairy, barely functioning, middle-aged man. But hey, I'll try my best. So this sound is on thousands of pop records now, and it's really overused, to be honest. But it's a good way to get a production that sounds kinda not poppy to sound really poppy. So it's really simple. We have our main vocal line right here. I wanna be a poppy guy. As you can listen, there's a bunch of empty space after it that needs to be filled. This is the perfect situation to use delay. And to make it cool, we'll make it an Alterboy delay. First, you gotta make two new tracks under this main one, right here. And let's call one Alter High and the other one Alter Low. There we go. Now we're gonna do a manual delay. Something very simple. You just copy the last piece of your sentence right here, twice. One here and one here. You're gonna have to play around with the position of your sentence just so it makes sense with your song and the kind of delay you're going for. This is how it sounds right now. I wanna be a poppy guy. Poppy guy. Poppy guy. So that's how a delay looks in the real world. That's how a manual delay is made. I know it's almost impossible nowadays, but in case you don't have a delay plugin, that's how you make one from scratch. But it doesn't sound cool, does it? So let's make it cooler. And to make it cooler, you guessed it, we have to make it wet. So let's put some reverb on these two tracks right here. You want to place these delays back in the mix, right? So to place things back in a mix, you use reverb. Reverb pushes things back in the mix. They can't sound like the original, they're echoes of the original, so they're farther away. And this is one of the times where you can put a lot of reverb on it. You can see that my decay is quite high, my mix is quite high here, because you want to fill that empty space, and reverb fills a lot of space. It doesn't only push things back, but it also fills a lot of empty space in your songs. I'm using vintage verb right here, but literally any delay will work for this trick. I wanna be a poppy guy. Okay, it sounds cooler, but it's still a bit traditional, right? It sounds like a normal delay with reverb on it, right? So we need the star of the show right here, Little Alterboy. Put it before the reverbs. Remember, before the reverbs. On the first track, we're gonna leave it on transpose mode, that's fine. Put the knobs all the way up, an octave up, and a little bit of drive, just to make the delay sound a bit older and grungier. It's cool, trust me. Now on the second track, we're gonna have the same drive and transpose modes here, but we're gonna put the formant one octave down and leave the pitch alone at 0. I wanna be a poppy guy. Okay, we're getting there, right? We have the natural voice first, then the octave up second, and then the octave down third. And in my opinion, this is a lot more interesting than just a normal delay, because it kind of takes this normal acoustic sounding song to more of a weird poppy acoustic song. At least in my opinion. And you might be thinking now, the low octave sounds pretty cool, but that high octave sounds like a chipmunk. And you're right. That's the main mistake a lot of people make when they're using Little Alterboy. You want to pitch things up, but in the end you only sound like a sad robot chipmunk. That's because the lower octaves, they're easy, right? They go down, they get darker, they get cooler. The high octaves though, they make the annoying parts of your voice even more annoying though, and they do make you sound like a stupid chipmunk. They get too bright and too ridiculous. And in my opinion, it sounds a bit cheesy. But it's okay. Just like when you have an old piece of cheap cheese in your fridge and you're really hungry and you have to eat it, right? You have to eat it. What do? You make a sandwich, right? So we're gonna So we're gonna put this cheesy chipmunk voice into an EQ sandwich. Did you like my analogy? I know you did. So an EQ sandwich, and the way to make an EQ sandwich, as you can see here, is to make a bandpass. A really extreme bandpass where you cut all the annoying bits up here from that chipmunk voice. And you also get rid of the annoying low end that you don't need in a high octave. And that way you shave out all of the bad things and you leave only the cool things of the high octave.
I wanna be a puppy guy.
It will also help in putting it back in the mix. You don't want the delay to be too forwards. And it puts it in the same place as the low octave. You can even put the low octave a little bit lower now, just to make it really sound like the last echo of a chain of echoes.
I wanna be a puppy guy.
And there we go, we have a Cool Kids delay. Now from this point on, you can only make it cooler and crazier. You can stick a vintagey sounding plugin like RC20 on top of everything and just make it sound even more vintagey.
I wanna be a puppy guy.
Or you can even automate Alterboy, the format especially, and make it sound bananas.
I wanna be a puppy guy.
It's all up to your creativity from this point on. The basics of sounding freaking cool, man. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what I do, please press all the buttons around me out there in this world that help me right now. And I see you all next time. Thank you and bye.